Guys, hey guys, my name is Robert. Welcome back to another episode of Command Your Confidence. I'm joined by AV, that you know him as Alpha Villains. How's it going, buddy?
Rob, thank you for having me, brother. I'm doing good, man. I feel blessed. I'm happy. I see the work that you're putting in, man. You're really inspiring me. And the fact that you allow me to come on your channel to talk to your audience is an honor. Follow me on Instagram at Alpha Villains. I got a YouTube channel as well. So please subscribe.
Yeah, guys, definitely check out his content. Like I've started watching some of Alpha Villains. Well, I've known him from when he was on the Afi Kingdom podcast. I didn't know he did content. And then when Afi had told me about him, I started picking into his content, and he's really insightful and he engages with the audience when he's talking about whatever it is we're talking about. You're going to see this when we're talking today. Like he gets really into it. And he has some good viewpoints and just kick ass.
Let's go. Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, it's all about energy, bro. You bring it out of me. And I watched, shout out to Red Pill Thor. I saw the interview you did with Red Pill Thor. That was awesome. You've been putting in the work, bro. Your Motivation Mondays. We see it and we need it, man. So keep doing your thing, man. I'm looking forward. Rock on, bro. I'm looking forward to doing this show. Let's go.
Yeah, let's get rolling, guys. So, like today, we had a lot of topics we were talking about. I was talking with Alpha Villains before we got into the broadcast today. We're talking about how everything, like when you're working on anything in your life, there's always things you're going to learn that are going to get you to the next level and everything. And this goes the same way when you have your setbacks, when you're working on a goal and you just say something goes wrong and you're just like, oh crap, I just want to give up. I don't know if I can handle this because you don't believe it. And what we want to tell you is that no matter what the heck it is you're working on in life, it is it's an experience, it's a challenge. You got to develop the strategy in your mind and the motivation to overcome it. And from there you will learn. What do you have to say about what are your opening thoughts on this, buddy?
This is awesome, Rob. This is a good topic because a lot of people get discouraged from loss. A lot of people get discouraged from not succeeding. A lot of people can't embrace learning, right? Because it's kind of like the student that's hesitant to raise their hand to ask a question because they don't want to feel stupid. They don't want to look stupid. But no question is dumb when there's thought behind it. When you really want to understand something, you got to understand we learn from loss. Mm-hmm. If you're winning the championships all the time, you're not really learning anything. But when you meet a competitor who's better than you, when there's an obstacle that kind of derails you from your goal, makes you lose focus, you kind of have to embrace that loss and realize why you lost, learn from it, recalibrate, and get back on your horse, on your grind, and go after it again. Because as a man, we both know, Rob, that nobody really cares about men today. You got to man up, handle it, Rob. Stop whining, stop crying about it. Just handle it. But men don't have an outlet. Men are not understood because they're programming men to be more feminine. And that's the furthest from the truth. So at the end of the day, men, it's important for you guys to realize that life is about winning. Life is also about losing. You are going to lose more than you win. But when you embrace that, the fewer wins that you do have will trump the majority of the losses that you have because you're going to enjoy it more. Mm-hmm. So that's very important.
Exactly. And one thing I realized on my journey towards self-development when I was kind of working on business, either working on my social life or just kind of starting with my channel, sometimes, we let our setbacks, we let our mind, when we have our setbacks, we just let our mindsets change where we just think, well, it's not possible to do this. And for some people, they can overcome that. Other people, they just get lost and just like, fuck it, I'm just going to give up. And why do you think people fail to see that when you're when you have a setback in life, that it's why do they fail to see it's a learning process? Is that because they're focused more on the win and having success and they want that success to validate what they're doing, their work?
That's a very good question, a very good point. I think people fail to realize the importance of putting in the hard work because hard work is actually hard. Giving up is easy. Not grooming yourself, eating whatever you want, drinking, escaping things, smoking, not putting in the work to do better for yourself is easy. You just kind of check out. And most men feel like it's easier because of female nature. They hear all this shit about girls. It's hard for them to get with girls. You know, this guy on social media has got a boat. This guy's got a watch. I can't achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
I was handed a bad hand, dealt a bad hand. It's easier to just quit, but that decision of quitting and giving up will cost you the rest of your life. If you put in the work and you do the work, you get on top of that mountain, the view's much better, and you get to enjoy your life. So the decisions that you make are important, will determine what direction and what type of life you're going to have. If you give up, you'll never enjoy what life has to offer. But if you continue to grind, you continue to go after what you want, you will get what's best in this world because you'll have choices.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Do you think sometimes, like, I don't know, I've kind of get this too when I'm working on something. When we see people who have achieved what it is we want, we get discouraged, and we kind of, because we get discouraged, we kind of feel we're not good enough or don't have it, and we fail to realize that the people who have all the money, or the girls, or the nice cars, or just living the life that they want, they work their asses off to get there. You know, and I think, don't you think we fail to realize that when we see them enjoying, engaging in their success?
Absolutely. And I think the reason why we do that, and I think it's human nature, but as you get older and wiser, you start to identify and become an individual. You start to embrace your own identity. For instance, we're aspiring content creators. We look at the content creators that have 5,000 viewers, they have 100,000 subscribers. But in order for them to do that, they had to do it their way. Rob, you can't do shit my way. I can't do shit your way. And when you reach that, when you have the girls, you have the success, you realize you don't necessarily want it. It's not conducive with your lifestyle. You got this hot chick that's beautiful, but she's a fucking headache. You can't go to the bathroom. Everyone's looking at her. Everyone's trying to get with her. She has these high expectations. She's running you ragged because she's accustomed to this lifestyle that you're not really, you seem like a laid back kind of dude. You're not really flashy. You just want to chill. She doesn't want to chill. She doesn't want to Netflix and chill. She wants to go out on a boat and all that shit. That's a headache. With the subscribership, you want to be successful. You're more of a target. So you really have to identify what you want to do and make it the best version of that. So success to me may be different than success to you. So stop looking at what other people have. Figure out what you want. Create a map for you on how you're going to achieve that level of success. And as you go, you'll start to realize whether you want to go to that mountain or you want to be comfortable at the other mountain that you created. So that's what it is.
That's some fire like knowledge you just spat out there. Good job. Rock and roll, man. Now I got a question for those who may want to know, say they're confused as hell and they're like, well, hey, how would you recommend they figure out how to map out what it is they want? Because that's a very hard question. You know, sometimes it's hard for people to think of, but what are some things you can think of that would kind of like get people to like look within and just be like, okay, this is what I really want, and this is just a pipe dream.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good question. So you're right. You know, mapping out, figuring out who you are, who you want to be, it's very difficult, especially when you have family telling you how you should be, the narrative, the things that you were raised by, your friends are living a certain way, but it's just not who you want to be, girls and all that shit. It's kind of like, I equate that to, let's say you go to a new restaurant. You've never been to this restaurant and you look at the menu and there's dishes on it you've never had. The only way you can figure out what you like, what you want to eat, what you enjoy is to try it. You got to be open to try shit. You got to be open to try to skateboard. You got to be open to try to scuba dive. You got to be open to trying different things so it can kind of project you and put you on a path to doing things that you enjoy. Because at the end of the day, Rob, if you don't enjoy it, there's not going to be fuel and passion behind it. So you got to figure out what you enjoy, not what AV enjoys. You got to figure out what you enjoy, not what someone else enjoys. You got to figure out what you enjoy by trying and error, trial and error. That's the only way you can create a map for yourself to have a good life.
Yeah, exactly. And I think another thing too is especially you can't, and when you're planning this out, you can't like plan it to, think about, well, okay, do I have to do this because to please some other person? You got to do it to please you, because I think a lot of people, like, they kind of don't really look after themselves and more concerned about what the other people are doing. So they're like, they may hate doing an activity, but they'll do it because they don't want to lose like a friend, a girlfriend, and shit like that. Or, you know, maybe they don't want to disappoint their parents and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Right. Right. And that's a trap that we've all been a part of. If you have family, you don't have a lot of friends, but you have some friends, you don't have a lot of family, you have some family. That's the choice that men have to make. Men have to decide whether the history that they have with the people that they know that they've come to love is more important than the love and the goals that he has for himself. Your goals have to be more important to you than the expectations you think a family's going to have on you, your friends are going to have on you, a girl's going to have on you, because when you do that, you take away what's going to fulfill you and make you happy, Rob, and you're trying to make those people happy. And you can't make anybody happy unless you are happy yourself, Rob. So that's the journey. That's the discipline that men have to have. That's why they say heavy lies the crown. Not everybody could wear this crown as a man, as a king, be the prize. Until you can make those tough decisions, bro, that's when you realize you can be a leader. You can lead a family. You can lead a woman. You can lead yourself down a path to become a winner in your own right, bro.
Yeah, and that's the same with anyone. You know, I just think a lot of people, like I said, man, they don't, and they just don't know themselves, and because they're so flooded with all the stuff from like what society expects out of them, and that keeps them from being authentic. And
right,
and they, whether it be through media, movies, looking to other people who are cooler and wanting to be like them and impress them, and they can't be themselves. They can't think. People, I think, have a hard time thinking for themselves, and it's so damn fucking sad that people are like. It's weird that they were like that, because I mean, I was like, it was weird at one point. I kind of got sucked into that little vortex of
course,
wanting to be someone else who I wasn't, to impress someone else.
Right.
And and when I did that, it still didn't get me nowhere. It made me feel like, what the heck is going wrong?
Right. And as a man, you will understand that your time is the most valuable commodity. So you said something very important. When you do something that's typically out of your character, Rob, to try to impress a woman, for instance, you realize the work that it took for you to get out of character to impress this woman, you realize it didn't get you anywhere. The woman wasn't worth it. And now the woman has moved on, and you have to start over to try to figure out who you want to be again. But you can't get that time back. So at the end of the day, bro, if you do not pick a path for yourself, Rob, and your audience that's listening, you got to do what's right for you. If a plane is descending, this is an old analogy. If the plane is descending, crashing, you have to put the mask on yourself first before you save somebody else. Why? Because if you are no good, you can't be good to someone else. If you are swimming, somebody is drowning, you have to make sure that you're okay. You can't get too close to the victim, because the victim will panic and drag you down, and you're both going to drown. So a man has to make sure that he makes the decisions for himself, so he is in the right state of mind, body and soul, so that way he can be the best version for other people when people look to you for guidance and leadership.
Yeah, that's true. And then before we move on to the next topic, any closing statements you'd like to make?
No, man. I think that it's very difficult. Like a baby, for instance, they take their first steps, they fall, they walk, they fall, they hit their head, but they get back up. A lot of times people, as we get older, with all this information that we receive, it's kind of like paralysis by analysis, right? Because we know so much now, we're paralyzing ourselves. We're scared to fail. But the sooner you embrace that you can fail and still win, you're going to live a life that's going to be dictated by your own terms, and you're going to be happy.
Yeah, that's 100%. That was some fire game that you just spat out there on mindset stuff. And I would like to conclude too. Like, I think, yeah, you're right though. When it comes to like maybe getting a business started, maybe learning how to talk to women, or maybe learning how to get into shape and everything. I think we bombard ourselves with all this information that these experts put up, and I know we just think that we got to live up to the expectations of the information. And when it doesn't work, I think we think something is wrong with us. And when
Facts.
really the problem is that, okay, we're taking someone else's information and not be using what, be appearing authentic when we use it. Sure, that gets you to a step in your life. It takes you up a notch or two. You might have a little bit of small successes, but I think you got to realize, the more you fail, I think when you sit back and reflect, you develop your own ideas, and that's how you grow. So like the mentoring and reading all the books, that's just like planting the seeds in your head. And
Right.
You got to learn to like just develop your own way of doing things. And I think that once you do that, the more natural that becomes, and you'll see that things slowly work in your favor as you're doing it. It may take time for it to be like 100% effective, but you'll see that, you got the wisdom from the books. And I'm not saying books are bad. I think they're good. I think any self-development book and everything is good to pick up every once in a while, just to kind of refresh your mind and stuff. But eventually you got to, I think of that as just planting the seeds to help you grow and develop your own mind and that will take yourself to the next level.
Absolutely, bro. And one more thing before we go,
Okay.
You said something important. Books, developing, learning, embracing knowledge is important. But when you plant those seeds, the only way you can water those seeds is by creating action, doing things. Action and trial and error will trump any book. Action and trial and error will trump any YouTube video. So you got to make sure once you plant the seeds, you water them so you can go ahead and reap the rewards of what you've sown.